Welcome to another episode of Hardware Lens. In today's video, we will be benchmarking our i5-10600K RTX 2070 Super gaming PC that we featured in an earlier video. We built this computer aiming to get the most bang for your buck while providing excellent performance in terms of gaming, productivity, and general usage. At the heart of the PC was the newly released Intel 10th Gen i5-10600K 6-core 12-thread CPU that we overclocked to an all-core frequency of 5 GHz with an uncore ratio of 47. This is a substantial improvement over the stock all-core frequency of 4.5 GHz and 43 uncore ratio, coming in at a much lower price than the flagship i9-10900K and offering better gaming performance than current Ryzen CPUs. The 10600K offers good value and performance that comes close to the 10900K when overclocked. This makes the 10600K a natural choice for a high-performance gaming build. The EVGA RTX 2070 Super Black Gaming provides good performance per dollar with ray tracing support, offering performance close to the RTX 2080 at a much lower cost. The EVGA offering remains our top choice for 2070 Super due to its factory overclock, competitive price, excellent customer support, and good availability at the time of writing this article. For storage, dual SSDs were chosen, one 500GB NVMe drive for the operating system and one 1TB SATA drive for storage to ensure the best load times and overall system responsiveness. 16 GB of Patriot Viper Steel memory featuring the highly overclockable Samsung B-Die RAM was used. We overclocked this memory as detailed in one of our previous videos. Our benchmark suite for this build consisted of Metro Exodus, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Fortnite, Cinebench, and Blender. Metro Exodus is one of the most demanding games out there today, and will push any GPU to the max. The RTX 2070 Super provided ample performance at 1080p and 1440p resolutions with and without RTX enabled. Performance at 4K resolution was at the minimum of what we would consider playable, while RTX did not seem to hamper the performance much. With 1080p using the Ultra preset, we averaged 76 FPS without RTX, and 70 FPS with RTX enabled. Minimum FPS dipped down to 40 and 39 respectively. 1440p resolution is right at the sweet spot for visual fidelity and good performance. Our system averaged 57 FPS on Ultra without RTX and 51 FPS with RTX on. Minimum frame rates dropped briefly to 31 and 24 respectively at 1440p resolution. Finally, running on Ultra with a 4K monitor produced 36 FPS on average with RTX off and 35 FPS with RTX on. Minimum FPS were 23 and 24 respectively. While the minimum FPS were not much lower than 1440p, the averages were. If you are going for a 4K build, you may want to consider moving up to the 2080 Super, 2080 Ti, or waiting for the upcoming RTX 3000 series. Next up for our benchmarks is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is another title offering breathtaking graphics which are sure to put our GPU through its paces on maximum settings. At 1080p resolution, our system averaged 71 FPS and hit a maximum of 137 FPS and a minimum of 44. At 1440p resolution, our system performed well again, averaging 54 FPS, maxing out at 82 and hitting a minimum of 34. Finally, at 4K resolution, performance was again just adequate. We averaged 37 FPS, maxing out at 59 and hitting a low of 26. The last gaming benchmark used in this test was Fortnite. We recorded FPS during the initial few minutes of a battle royale match on high settings. Fortnite was not originally in our benchmark suite, but was added based on viewer feedback. Let us know how we did with this benchmark and if there's anything we left out that you would like to see in a future review. We had issues with the data from this benchmark using resolutions other than 1080p, so those results are not included. At 1080p, our system averaged 225 FPS with a maximum of 299 FPS and a minimum of 60. Overall, this build should offer more than adequate performance for competitive Fortnite players. The first of our CPU benchmarks used was Cinebench. Cinebench is a good gauge of system performance with a rendering workload. The system scored 3870, a very respectable score, and no doubt thanks to our overclocked 6-core 12-thread CPU. The second CPU benchmark used was Blender. Our system took 3 minutes and 11 seconds to render the BMW 27 scene, and 11 minutes and 4 seconds to render the classroom scene. Like with Cinebench, the overall performance was decent, but if workstation performance is your priority, we would recommend going with an AMD Ryzen CPU at this time for the higher core count and better multi-threaded performance. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we did and what you'd like to see in a future video. And that will conclude the series on the 10600K 2070 Super Gaming PC. In the future, look for upcoming videos featuring a Ryzen build and then a 10900K all-out maximum performance build. Thanks for watching.